question for you, Tank. At 147, how does a fight with you and Terence Crawford look?
Damn.
147. Shit, if I
147.
tap that chin, you know he going to sleep.
I already know. I already know
he
he
ain't
is.
got no chance.
I already know he is.
He said no chance.
Gervonta Tank Davis has made a bold claim of defeating the pound-for-pound king Terence Bud Crawford in just 6 rounds. A fight between Davis and Crawford would be a blockbuster event, as both fighters are elite talents with huge fan bases and knockout power. However, there are many obstacles to making it happen, such as promotional issues, weight differences, and mandatory challenges. However, Crawford reacted to Gervonta's claim by saying, "He is just talking. He has the confidence in himself that he believes he can do that because he's been knocking all these fighters out." No knock to Tank, but there's definitely levels. If he comes up to 147 and he's thinking he's just gonna knock Terence Crawford out, he's got another thing coming. Tank Davis has fought as high as the super lightweight limit of 140, a win over Mario Barrios for the WBA regular belt, although looks much more suited to 135 where he is currently full WBA champion. Asked if he would stick around to make 147 for the fight, Bud said yes for the money rather than the credit, but warned Davis against that scale of weight jump. Bud stated, "I'd stay at 147 for him. That's big money. But then what? Everybody's gonna say he was too small. Nobody's gonna give me credit. They're gonna say, man, you beat up a little guy that fights at 135. Tank's like 5'5". He's a lil guy. Yeah, he can punch, but in his weight class. Not saying he can't punch in any weight class, because he punches and we see that. But what type of recognition am I gonna get for beating up Tank? A lot of people don't know 135 to 147 is a big jump. A fight between these 2 pound-for-pound contenders is like a dream match for many, but it won't be happening anytime soon, as Davis recently beat Frank Martin and Crawford is fighting Israel Madrimov in his debut fight in the 154 division. Also, Stephen A. Smith has made a bold claim about Davis, which likely puts an end to a long-debated topic of the pound-of-pound best boxer in the world today. The former NBA analyst mentioned how Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, and David Benavidez deserve to be on the pound-for-pound top 5 list. He did, however, note that while the P4P ranking is up for argument, if we talk about the most exciting fighter at the moment,
Someone calling the Baltimore native a mini Mike Tyson. With a record of 30-0, 28 by knockout, he's pound for pound one of the top 5 fighters on the planet easily. And guess what? He might be tops overall. Now, there's some names to throw out there in fairness. Terence Crawford, we can't forget about him. Can't forget about him. Beterbiev, the light heavyweight division, can't forget about him, okay? You got to throw him some love. Can't get around that. Canelo Alvarez, can't forget about him. My guy, David Benavidez, 28-0, 29-0, 24 knockouts. The Mexican monster, as so labeled Mike Tyson. Can't forget about him either. I brought up Terence Crawford after his destruction of Errol Spence Jr. We know that Terence Crawford deserves to be in the conversation. But here's the deal. This cat is 27-0 with 24 knockouts.
Davis undoubtedly comes out at the top, despite the below-projected PPV sales of the Davis versus Martin fight. Tank has garnered a lot of attention in the boxing world. It is a fact that he knows how to sell fights, and he knows it better than anyone else around at the moment. Despite there being more technically superior fighters in boxing like Terence Crawford, Oleksandr Usyk, Naoya Inoue, and Canelo Alvarez, selling out a fight like a star is something Tank is able to do better than others. So when it comes to the age-old debate in boxing over who is the best, Davis's ability to sell fights better than other boxers negates the entire point of the debate, according to Smith. Gervonta Davis is, therefore, currently poised to emerge as the biggest boxing draw of the modern era. This is what forms the basis of Stephen A. Smith's argument. We can debate the top fighter in the world pound for pound. We can do that. What we cannot do is debate who's the most exciting fighter, but who's the biggest box office attraction in boxing. That would happen to be Gervonta Davis. We just have to accept it. After parting ways with Mayweather Promotions in 2022, led by none other than Floyd Mayweather himself, Gervonta Davis has squared off against notable opponents like Rolly Romero, Hector Luis Garcia, Ryan Garcia, and Frank Martin, all formidable contenders in the lightweight category. According to boxing YouTuber Showbiz the Adult, the recent actions of Tank Davis suggest a significant rift with Floyd Mayweather, playing out prominently on social media. Following Davis's recent bout against Martin and Leonard Ellerby's departure from Mayweather Promotions, Showbiz elaborated on why he believes Davis made the right call to part ways with Mayweather. The YouTuber explained that Floyd's mindset is more aligned with money than pretty boy, emphasizing that when Floyd is developing his fighters, he prioritizes financial gain and currency over building a legacy.
Honestly, I'm not sure how good Floyd is for fighters because Floyd thinks like money. He doesn't think like pretty boy. So when he's bringing his fighters up, he thinks money. Currency over legacy. That hurts a fighter. career.
The pundit claims that Floyd Mayweather's activities have the potential to permanently harm a boxer's career. Thus, showbiz. The adult cited the instant Davis made the decision to part ways with Floyd, saying Tank has arrived. He is now a guy on his own. It's also important to note that Mayweather Promotions doesn't exactly have a large stable of well-established boxers. Kermel Moton, arguably the most talked-about fighter in his stable, has only competed in 3 professional fights. Now that Tank toppled Martin in a brutal 8th-round KO, many are speculating who he will go for next. The main guy on everyone's mind right now is none other than the Ukrainian boxing legend Vasily Lomachenko, who many believe to be one of the best ever. Considering that Davis's brutal power and underrated boxing IQ makes one hell of a style, Lomachenko's elite boxing skills would make this one hell of a fight. When Tank was asked about the speculated match against Lomachenko, there was no hesitation. Like his beloved hype man, he replied, "For sure, yeah, for sure. I'm willing to fight all of them. My prediction, for Loma, whooping time." Whooping. Previously, Ellerb has also made it clear that we'll fight against all of the top guys, and as soon as he wins against every one of them, he'll leave the sport. However, his opposite Hall of Fame promoter Bob Arum expressed his deep desire. After Tank's victory over Frank, he is all in for mediation. When Bob was asked if any negotiations started for the fight, he replied, "Well, we know that both fighters want to fight. So, when that happens, then the suits sit down and try to work out the economic terms and put it together." After this fight, he hinted that the winner could fight the ex-top rank pugilist Shakur Stevenson. He thinks that these 3 are great boxers, and it would be a dream come true for fans if they were ready to fight each other.
Davis and Lomachenko is a bigger fight than Davis and Shakur at this time, particularly after Shakur's last performance, which, I mean, he won very easily, but it was certainly not entertaining.
In another question-answer session, Top Rank CEO clarified that Lomachenko is not retiring anywhere soon. Looking forward to this fight here is how he compared 2 boxers. I don't think age matters. The question is, can Tank's power match the skills of Lomachenko? That's what makes it a fascinating fight. Tank doesn't have anywhere near the skill set of Lomachenko, and Lomachenko doesn't have anywhere near the power of Tank. And that's why you do those fights. To be brutally honest, he matched Tank with Roberto Duran and mentioned Tank as the most competent and hardest puncher in his weight class since Duran. Both teams have been negotiating for this fight for 7 to 8 years, but all they do is accuse each other of ducking. Leonard Ellerby is also looking for a way to make this fight a reality. Wondering about Top Rank's disguises, he commented, "See, they are smart. Lomachenko is the IBF champion. That's what fans want to see." Well, I'm wondering what the excuse is going to be now. Previously, Leonard has seriously criticized Top Rank's CEO for creating the hype for the Lomachenko-Tank fight and then ducking it. He noticed that Bob Arum mentioned in every Loma fight about the desire to fight Tank next. According to him, the only reason Top Rank creates the hype is to gain attention. After Lomachenko's previous fight, he added, "Bob is a terrific promoter. He says these things to try to generate publicity for fights that not many people want to see. And it's not Lomachenko's fault. But I'll say this, the reason they're bringing Gervonta's name is that there's no talk about the current opponent he has." Lomachenko and his promoter have also never stepped back. Whenever they had a chance, they condemned Tank and the Mayweather promotion for not letting it happen.
And a possible matchup because many people...
Ask Floyd Mayweather. He said the kid isn't ready yet for the fight. Floyd Mayweather is his promoter. Floyd Mayweather, of anybody, Jr., knows about boxing. The question of whether Gervonta Davis is ready to fight a master like Loma should be put to Floyd Mayweather Jr. Let him answer that question.
In this same press conference, old Bob got bursted by the reporter for demanding this fight. He warned everyone in the media and stated, "Don't ask stupid stuff about Gervonta Davis when his promoter says he's not ready." In that same press conference, Lomachenko also accused Tank of hypocrisy and double standards. Tank has posted multiple times on social media that he will fight against the Ukrainian champ, but never agreed on the terms and conditions. He expressed his frustration saying, "I think Gervonta is the best of the best fighters on Twitter." Coming back to the present, Tank's trainer Kenny Ellis is also seeing this fight happening. Not only that, he has started observing Loma's style and technique. In a post he revealed, "Because of the strong rumors up in the air, I'm up, studying Lomachenko. If and when this fight happens, please let him come with his angles, and hopefully he will let Timothy Bradley work his corner so he can pick up Loma's shoes when Tank knocks him out of his socks." His notoriety was on the next level during the fight against Frank Martin. You may know that Frank's ring name is Ghost. He and the other crew wore a Ghostbusters movie t-shirt. Kenny Ellis, who is normally a mild-tempered block, is very tense at the speculation of a fight with Lomachenko. He is also not bothered by the fact that Lomachenko has never faced a knockout in his career. In fact, he claimed he, Lomachenko, will be knocked out before his career is over if he Ks with Tank. It won't go 12 rounds. He won't see the 12th round. So be a fool and bet on Loma. Kenny considers Lomachenko an overrated player and thinks that his rise after Teofimo Lopez's defeat is a clear double standard in the boxing world. Talking to Hardcore Boxing News,
he lost his second pro fight. He lost Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah, he lost to Salido. That was his first fight.
His first loss. But
yeah, Salido.
It's crazy how a person can lose, a black person can lose, and they set them aside. But a Caucasian person lose, they keep them on that high horse, you know. Anybody else, they kick to the curb.
Wow.
And that's I know it's not racist, but that's how it is.
He passed these racist remarks. His comments have hurt a lot of people, but none more than Timothy Bradley himself. Tim has refused multiple times that Gervonta Tank is the face of boxing. He stood firmly on his statement that Shakur would easily beat Tank. Once again, he got intimidated by Kenny Ellis and Leonard Ellerbay and exasperated.
I'm a different cloth, bro.
He's the one to beat Tank, you think?
Yeah. And call me a hater. I don't give a damn. Y'all keep coming at me. Keep bringing that hate. Keep bringing that hate, baby. I love it. Keep bringing it. Yes, he beats Tank. He outboxes him. Very easy. No problem whatsoever.
He is certain about Shakur's potential, but not sure what happens when Tank confronts Lomachenko. He wished this fight would be even better had it happened a few years ago and predicted, all right, you are going to hear from the hater right now. Okay, it's a great matchup. I wish that matchup could have happened 4 or 5 years ago when you know Lomachenko versus Lomachenko. However, I still think that he has the experience. He has what it takes. He can defeat Tanks. The former champ is clear that Tank is not immortal. Like other fighters, he has his strengths and weaknesses which can be countered. Here is how he made a simple recipe for Lomachenko to pull off this victory. Now he got to steer clear of that big shot. If he does that, if he keeps his back off the ropes, and if he makes Tank pay when he is being inconsistent and just trying to come behind that high guard, if he, Loma, takes advantage of that by twisting on the angles and staying low and getting out the hell the way the uppercut or anything that Tank brings, he has the chance of winning. He is sure that Loma will give his 100% to this fight, and this could be a perfect retirement for him and bring a cheerful evening to his war-stricken country. Along with this, he also cleared people who think the Ukrainian Matrix is too old to handle Tank Davis.
He has the gas tank, he has the knowledge, he has the experience, the championship pedigree. He's seen it all, even at his old age. And if he got one more fight left in him, one more good one left in him, it got to be on that night against Tank. And he can, because everybody's counting him out already. Just saying, he too old, he this, all that. Okay, all right. Y'all say that. You can say that all you want now. But Tank still got to get in there, and he still got to land that shot at the end of the damn day. And I haven't seen any of these killers or young guns be able to.
Not only that, he bashed boxing fans for supporting Ryan Garcia, who tested positive for using Ostarine before Haney's fight. He advised Haney to take a break from boxing and forget the beating inflicted on him by Ryan Garcia. He added, he, Devin, is now considered, I guess, as the villain, the loser, although the real villain and the real loser is Ryan Garcia. What are we doing? Why are we praising this guy? Why is this society uplifting negatively? He took Ostarine. He came overweight on the fight day. At the end of the day, he cheated, man. Despite all this controversy, King Ryan came for the Tank vs. Martin match with a big glass of beer in his hand. Surprisingly, he wore a t-shirt that had Tank's biggest fan and rematch me written on it. Ryan also came to the ring and congratulated him over his win over Frank Martin. When asked during the post-fight conference about his interaction with Garcia, Davis said that Ryan told him that he's the best 135-pounder in the world and demanded a rematch. Davis replied by saying that he would kick his ass again just like the first time.
What was the conversation about with your #1 fan in the ring after the fight?
Oh, Ryan? He's crazy. He's crazy. Talk about rematch. He said I was the best at 135 to 42. He said that. He said that. Say he want to fight me again. I'll kick his ass again.
Not only that, when he was asked about a possible fight with Shakur, whether it would be an exciting event or just him chasing Stevenson throughout the whole time, he nodded. You know how it will go. Everybody in this room knows how it will go. You know what I mean. I guess it would be good for the sport if we fight now or later. Shakur might be a newbie, but the hype for Tank vs Lomachenko is more than 7 years ago. Loma has accused Tank Davis on several occasions of ducking him and preferring money over the legacy. Around 6 years ago, he famously said this about Tank: "For me, he's not interesting. I can fight with him for free. But why didn't he fight with me when I stayed at 130? When I was a WBA champion, he was an IBF champion." Those were the times when Tank was fighting mostly as an undercard fighter, and Loma would mock Tank for his desire to fight a pay-per-view fight with him.
I read he won the fight only on pay-per-view. Hey, what are you talking about? You never has a main event. You fight only co-main event. What are you talking about? Какой это будет, как сказать, какой pay-per-view?
What kind of a pay-per-view is that going to be?
Pay-per-view you're talking about?
Robert Garcia has recently praised the Baltimore boxer for all of his achievements and thinks that Lomachenko is no match for Tank Davis. He said, "I think 5 or 6 years ago, I would have picked Lomachenko right away. Right now, it might be too hard. I think at his age, also his size, because he's not that big of a lightweight, I think Tank's power is going to be too much." U.S. super featherweight boxer Andreas Cortez has also shed similar thoughts and picked the youth instead of Lomachenko. He doesn't see a force in lightweight that could disrupt the Tank's victory march. He said, "My honest opinion is Tank knocks him out. That could be the last time we see Loma. I think that it's just a really tough matchup for Loma. I could be wrong, but I don't see anyone at 135 beating Tank." Puerto Rican boxer Jose Pedraza is unique in the way that he has lost to both Gervonta Davis and Lomachenko. He stated Vasily Lomachenko was his favorite in this fight and simply mentioned the difference between them. He put it straightforward. Lomachenko is a fighter that breaks his opponents little by little, and I believe that Davis is a fighter that knocks out his opponent with one punch. Mike Tyson's former coach and boxing pundit Teddy Atlas is also anticipating this fight. He was very happy for both fighters at their recent victories. According to him, the only problem is that he is not seeing it happen due to the lack of commitments between PBC and top-ranked promotions.
Since I touched on it, that's another fight we're never going to see. I would love to see that fight. I know.
I'll pay $500 for pay-per-view to see Tank fight Loma.
Oh my God, Ken!
I'm telling them right now. Leonard, are you listening? Leonard Ellerby, $500 at any price. Make that fight, please.
Yeah, I mean, really,
please.
Ken. I think you're speaking.
I know Loma will do it
masses.
probably for free.
I think we're speaking to the masses now.
Paulie Malignaggi gave his unique perspective about this fight in a recent interview, regardless of who wins. He pondered that Tank is the only true match in the current lightweight boxing scene and said, "Lomachenko constantly fights against the big lightweights. They are way bigger than him. He just got to outskill them to a different level. Tank Davis is a former 130 pounder. You are getting a fight where Lomachenko is finding a guy more at his size at lightweight, which hasn't happened a lot. Yeah, you are getting a little bit of an old Lomachenko, but the name still carries a lot of weight, and it's a big payday for Lomachenko. But it's sort of the boxing scenario where a young lion takes out the former lion." Keyshawn Davis also predicted the result of this fight. He also mentioned his fight against Tank. He thinks that Loma will be a much more difficult contender for Tank than Frank Martin. About Loma's chances, he said, "I mean, you got to think about Frank Martin. He beat Tank for 6 rounds. Lomachenko is way better than Frank Martin. So you just give Lomachenko a chance just based on Tank's statistics of losing the first rounds. Clearly, Lomachenko has a chance." Speaking of the best lightweight, Jack Limpley has made a huge remark about Tank Davis. He watched Tank's fight against Frank in the media row and compared Tank with young Roberto Duran. In a question-answer session with boxing reporter Sean Zittel, he favored Tank Davis over Lomachenko and mentioned his curiosity.
A lot of tread on the tires. I would have to favor Davis based on what I saw tonight. I do think Lomachenko is a fascinating opponent for him because he's one of the greatest technicians I ever saw in the ring, and he would think his way through the fight in a better way than Frank Martin did tonight, most likely.
But you'd still give the edge to Davis then?
So what are your thoughts about Gervonta Tank Davis? Do you think he's the current pound-for-pound best boxer in the world? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.